Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Haptic Shot here, and basically today's topic of commentary is going to be me talking about early access games, and basically the pros and cons, what's good about it, what's bad about it, and all that stuff. If you guys don't know, basically, what is early access? And this is mainly targeted to, like, PC gamers out there and everyone, or console gamers who want to know more about this, because it's a huge thing. Early access is a huge thing nowadays, and it's probably going to be getting closer to consoles and everything. It actually kind of is with Kickstarter, but let me get on to it. Basically, there are a lot of games out in early access, and basically early access games are unfinished games that are released onto the market, such as Kickstarter or the Steam store and everything. And it's basically, they are unfinished games, but they release it for the community to help it improve the game or whatever, or to make quick cash and everything. And basically, you have to pay the price demanded for the game, and usually it's a discounted price from the full release, which may be in a given time in the future, basically. But like I said, the game is unfinished, and Kickstarter is a huge factor to why the early access games became very popular. And then Steam kind of implemented it into their system as well with Steam Greenlight, where you have to vote on what games will make it into the store, and then they get on early access and blah 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 blah. Another way to put it is it's basically like paying for an alpha or beta. Like, imagine the Battlefield Hardline beta when it came out. Like, basically, imagine paying for that, and the developers would continue to patch it and update it until the full release of the game. Now, that doesn't sound so bad, does it? You're just paying for the game, and when it releases, there you go. Problem is, that's not exactly how early access tends to work. Early access can go in numerous different ways. So, like I said, the developers can just get greedy, and they might just take your money, stop patching the game and all that, and that could be a possibility. But first, let's talk about the pros of early access. So I'm going to list a bunch of games for early access right now, and the main thing is it really helps independent developers get their games out to the public fast and with bugs and everything. It just gets it out in the market, lets people know about the game, and all that good stuff. So some games which are using early access are basically Starbound, Besiege, The Forest, Darkest Dungeon, Rust, DayZ, Wreckfest, Verdun, Speedrunners, Broforce, and Crypt of the Necrodancer are a bunch of these games which use early access. And a lot of those games I actually like a lot. And I'm waiting for the full release, they're patching it and all that, and a bunch of the other games tend to have little to no patches at all. So the pros are, hopefully the community actually supports the developers and tells them what's wrong with the game, blah blah blah. But the main part is, hopefully the developers actually respond back to the community and actually support them. It's kind of like the way early access games should work is the community helps out the developers, and the developers listen to the community, add stuff to the game, patch the game properly, and make the game actually work. Like I said, it's the fastest way to get your games out there to the public. Go to Steam Greenlight or put it on Kickstarter, and people fund your game, and then you release the game in early access. So that's how it should work. There are some great games, like I said, like Toxic is a great game, next car game, Wreckfest, is great, The Long Dark is also a good game, and so is The Forest. Same with Crypt of the Necrodancer, and there are a bunch of good games. And the cool thing is, with early access, that it really can help independent developers out, get their funding, and then they actually work on their dream game, which is a possibility. Now, it can go in a completely different direction, and a lot of people hate Kickstarter. Let me list 3 Kickstarter games out. Wasteland 2 wanted $900,000, and it ended up getting $2.9 million. And the game released, and people actually really liked that game. Shadowrun Hong Kong wanted $100,000, and it made $1.2 million, and that game is going to be released sometime this year, I believe. And Star Citizen wanted $500,000, and it made $74 million. And the thing is with that game, it hasn't really had a lot of information come out, but apparently things are wrapping up, and that's good. And that brings me to my next point, the reliability of early access games. Like, how can we trust them? And the basic answer is that we can't. We just have to leave it to the developers. So it's a gamble with anything you buy on early access. It might be good, or the developers might just completely let it go and abandon the project, and you just pay $25, and now you have a game which you can barely play, also known as an unfinished game. So That's the problem with early access. And some games have already done this, especially with DayZ. The developers kind of just slowly are just patching the game less and less, and it's really not a fleshed out. It's a fleshed out game right now, but it's very, very poorly optimized. It's has a lot of work to do, has a lot of work to be done, and it really needs that push, and it needs the developers to work on the game, but apparently that's not getting done. Now, a prime example of an early access game gone bad is The Stomping Land. And this was basically like a dinosaur multiplayer survival game. And what happened here is the game released for $25 on Steam. It got kickstarted actually and it made $100,000. And the development stopped all of a sudden. And the developer posted something saying that basically his friend owed him a lot of money, and all of a sudden he's not there anymore, he's not responding to his calls, and so one of the developers completely backed out or disappeared apparently, and the game just stopped development, and the people who gave money aren't getting refunds because, like Valve said before, that they do not give refunds for early access games, even if it's pulled from the market, blah blah blah. So now we have a game, Stomping Land, which the development has stopped. It's still on the Steam store. It actually disappeared for a while, but now it's back. And so we have this game. It costs $25. There's no development being done. It's still on early access, and it's just there. Some guy who actually contributed $90 complained, and he was basically saying how it ruined early access games for him. And I don't blame him. That's really sad. You put $90 into a game and you think it's really going to work out for you, and all of a sudden the developers stop, they take your money, they get greedy, and it's done. Maybe their story is real with the Stomping Land, but we don't know, and it's just a disappointment to everyone who already gave money to these guys. And, yeah, that's the main problem, that there just can be greedy developers who will take your money, and you just don't get to play the game that you thought you paid for. And a lot of people come in expecting a fleshed out experience and are left off disappointed with the game. Many early access games are good and all, but they won't give you more than 2 or 3 hours of gameplay, and that's really not good. The developers can do whatever they want with the money after they have it, so some of them just, like I said, get greedy, they can do whatever they want, stop development, it's their money, and the consumers are screwed. So what do I think? I think that early access has a lot going for it, and it can be great if implemented properly, but at the same time, it's gone to shit. It can go to shit. Like, it can be another Stomping Land incident, and that's what really sucks. I just think that early access games, I think they should be there, but at the same time, when you release a game onto early access, have a fleshed out experience. Like a recent game I've been playing Toxic. Right now there's only one map, but the gameplay is on point. I could not ask for any more of the gameplay, but there's only one map, and if they just keep adding maps, it could be a totally worth $20 as a downloadable title, and it'll be perfect. So, good job, Toxic, and the developers for that. I forgot the developers' names, but when you release a game on early access, it should be a fleshed out experience and provide at least a numerous amount of hours of entertainment and gameplay. So, that's that. That's my rant on early access. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I am out.